Hi everybody, this is part two of this video I'm doing about Myers-Briggs and Jung and relating it to child raising, but I'm not putting this on my Evolved Parenting channel, but I'll put a link to that. If you're not a parent, you may just not be interested, or you may want to be more diving into these four polarities or these four preference styles. So in the prior video, I talked about sensing and intuition, and how Carl Jung supposedly, I haven't researched this to confirm it, but how he supposedly felt that you just nurture the preferences you have, and that's it, and that's your temperament, and that's what this book, Raising Your Spirited Child, advocates. And I'm suggesting that it's a little more complicated and subtle than that. Yes, we want to let a person or a child or an adult enjoy what works for them. But at the same part, if you're closing off your sensing or your intuitive aspect, then you're missing out on a whole part of life. If you're too involved in the sensing, what I can actually sense and feel in the present, and you're not going into more abstract concepts, then you're missing out, I think, on sort of the mysterious aspects of life. And on the flip side, if you're so involved in the mysterious aspects of life that you're not really in your body or in the present, then it's beneficial to explore that other piece of the puzzle. So that sort of catches you up, but I recommend you just go back and see what I talked about. But now we're moving away from sensing and intuition, and we're moving towards thinking and feeling. So I'll just read from Wikipedia. Thinking and feeling are the decision-making, judging functions. So prior we were talking about perceiving, how you perceive the world. I talked about this video, if you're a parent, in terms of getting you into pure observation mode. Then you're not going to prejudge a situation, but it obviously relates to anyone, not even parents, so you might want to check that video out. In any case, perceiving, we talked about it, now we're into judging, right? So the thinking and feeling functions are both used to make rational decisions based on data received from their information gathering functions, either sensing or intuition. Now, the people who prefer thinking tend to decide things from a more detached standpoint, measuring this decision by what seems reasonable, logical, causal, cause and effect, consistent, and matching a given set of rules. Now, you can see how if that's your inclination, whether you're a child or an adult, you get a lot of power in the world and ease in the world if you are allowed to manifest in that way. And I'm not disagreeing with that. However, if you're so focused on logic and reason and consistency, then you're closed off from the whole other aspect of human existence. So when she talks about in Raising Your Spirited Child, that that's just your temperament, and that's all you can say about that, I don't agree. You have a preference, and at times that preference is useful, but you don't want to be locked into a pattern. So on the flip side of this, those who prefer feeling instead of thinking tend to come to decisions by associating or empathizing with the situation, looking at it from the inside, and weighing the situation to achieve on balance the greatest harmony, consensus, and fit, considering the needs of the people involved. Thinkers usually have trouble interacting with people who are inconsistent or illogical, and tend to give very direct feedback to others. So again, you can see how there's an advantage for this person if they don't have to deal with illogical people, and if their direct feedback is welcome. But especially if you're raising a child, but anybody, you're going to be in situations where you're going to be dealing with people who are inconsistent, with people who are illogical, or at least you're assuming that they're inconsistent and illogical. And that's again back to this pure observation I talk about, where you don't know. You know, if you're immediately jumping in conclusion, if you've been raised as a child, or you're just so focused and fixed inside the thinking model, then you're going to immediately assume that anybody who sort of doesn't seem exactly talking the way you talk, that they're illogical. And this falls into gender issues as well, where men often feel that women are not being rational when they are being rational. We just are jumping to a conclusion because we have a fixed idea of what rational looks like. And also, if you're so allowed to give direct feedback to other people, well, sometimes indirect feedback is more useful. I'm being a little polite. So these thinkers are concerned with truth and view it as more important than being tactful. And the fact of the matter is, if your child is that way, or if you're that way, you can see how it can be limiting. Then Wikipedia goes on to say, as noted already, people who prefer thinking do not necessarily, in the everyday sense, think better than their feeling counterparts. The opposite preference is considered an equally rational way of coming to decisions. So anyway, MBTI is the term they use, Myers-Briggs, the test, is an assessment of preference, not ability. Great. I think that's true. I have no argument with that. But I am suggesting that the preferences are something that can be a little more playful. Okay. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that probably, but I may come back again with some more. But thanks for listening.